Wealth After 50 presents the hidden costs of delaying your retirement. What if the safest decision you think you're making for your retirement is actually the riskiest? For decades, the advice has been simple. If you're worried about money, just work a few more years. Grow that 401k, maximize your Social Security. But what if I told you that one more year plan could be a trap? What if, by delaying retirement, you're walking straight into a financial minefield that's been deliberately hidden from you? In this video, we're pulling back the curtain on the hidden costs of delaying your retirement. We're talking about the stealth taxes, the surprise healthcare bills, and the shocking trade-offs that can leave you poorer in wealth, in health, and most importantly, in time. By the end of this, you'll have a totally new way to decide when the right time to retire truly is. First, let's just talk about the one more year plan because it feels so logical. You run the numbers, you look at your 401k, and you think, hey, if I just work 12 more months, I can add another $50,000. My Social Security check will be bigger. I'll have more security, more peace of mind. On paper, it makes perfect sense. This is where conventional wisdom fails because it's based on a dangerously incomplete equation. It only calculates the upside, the extra cash, the bigger government check, but it completely ignores what's on the other side of the ledger. It ignores the creeping taxes, the vanished opportunities, and the single most valuable asset you have, which you are actively trading away. The hard truth is that for many people, the decision to retire isn't even their own. Data from the Health and Retirement Study shows that a staggering 37% of people retire earlier than they planned. More than a third of people who had a date circled on the calendar were thrown a curveball. And the top two reasons? Health problems and job loss due to a layoff. This is the fatal flaw in the one more year strategy. It assumes you're the one in control. It operates on the assumption that you can work until you decide you're ready. But life doesn't always check with your plans. A health issue can pop up overnight. A company restructuring can make your job disappear. And just like that, the extra year you were banking on is gone and you're left scrambling. How about this couple? Let's call them Mark and Susan. They were 64, with a solid $1.5 million saved. They could have retired, but they were nervous. They decided to work just 2 more years until 66, to be sure. 9 months later, Mark's company announced a major reorganization, and his senior-level job was eliminated. He got severance, but he was suddenly 65 and out of work. The job market was brutal, and the emotional toll was huge. They ended up retiring anyway, but not on their terms. They felt defeated and stressed instead of empowered and excited. Their story is a powerful reminder that the one more year plan isn't a safety net. You're betting your health will hold up, your job will be there, and the financial upside will be worth it. But as we're about to see, the costs you're paying are far greater than you think. Let's start with the biggest one. Hidden Cost 1, the Health and Vitality Tax. The first and most devastating hidden cost of delaying retirement is what I call the Health and Vitality Tax. This isn't a tax you pay to the IRS, it's a tax you pay to time. We like to think our health will decline on a nice, gentle slope. Your 60s are often what senior care experts call the go-go years, that beautiful sweet spot where you have time, money, and health all at once. Your 70s become the slow-go years, and your 80s can quickly become the no-go years. Every single year you work past the point you could retire, you are risking trading a go-go year for a slow-go or no-go year later on. You're trading a year of hiking and traveling for a year that might be spent in doctors' offices. A recent Fidelity report estimates that a 65-year-old couple retiring in 2025 should expect to spend about $172,500 on healthcare during their retirement. And that shocking number doesn't even include the big one, long-term care like a nursing home, which can cost over $100,000 a year. So how does working longer play into this? Well, you think, I'll just keep my great health plan from work. But while you're working, your income is high. The moment you retire and get on Medicare, the government looks back at your income from 2 years ago to decide what your premiums will be. This is called IRMA, the Income-Related Monthly Adjustment Amount. By working those extra years at a high salary, you can accidentally sentence your future retired self to way higher Medicare Part B and Part D premiums. For 2025, if your income on your 2023 tax return was over $106,000 for a single person or $212,000 for a couple, you start paying these surcharges. This can add hundreds or even thousands of dollars a year to your healthcare bills in retirement, a direct penalty for working longer. Let's take a look at our business owner example, David. He was 66, making good money, about $150,000 a year, and wanted to work until 70 to max out his Social Security. What he didn't see was that those extra years of high income would push him into a painful IRMA bracket for his first few years of retirement. When we ran the numbers, the extra thousands he'd pay in Medicare premiums essentially wiped out a huge chunk of the extra Social Security benefit he was working for. He was just running in place, swapping money from one pocket to another, all while burning his healthiest, most energetic years. Your health and vitality are your most precious assets in retirement. The health and vitality tax is what you pay when you trade them for a few more dollars. You might just have to give right back to the healthcare system. Hidden cost 2, the stealth tax and opportunity cost. The second hidden cost is sneakier, but just as damaging. The stealth tax and the cost of lost opportunities. This is the penalty you pay for being a successful late career earner, and the golden chances you miss by not having a few low-income years before you officially retire. Let's talk about the tax torpedo. It's a nasty surprise that hits so many new retirees. The amount of your Social Security that gets taxed depends on your combined income. When you're working and making a great salary, you pretty much guarantee that up to 85% of your Social Security benefits will be taxable if you try to claim them. But the real magic, the strategy that saves people tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars, happens in the gap years. These are the years between when you stop working and when you start taking Social Security and required minimum distributions, RMDs. In these years, your income is low. This is your golden window. When your taxable income is low, you have an incredible opportunity to do Roth conversions. You move money from your traditional pre-tax 401k or IRA into a Roth IRA. You have to pay income tax on the conversion, sure, but you get to do it at a much lower rate, maybe the 12% or 22% bracket, instead of the 24% or 32% bracket you were in while working. Once that money is in a Roth, it grows tax-free forever and you never have to take RMDs from it. Every single year you keep working, you are slamming that golden window shut. You're giving up a year where you could have moved money to a tax-free bucket at a huge discount. Instead, you're just piling more into your pre-tax accounts, building a bigger and bigger tax disaster that's set to detonate when you turn 73 and those RMDs kick in. Imagine two retirees. Retiree A stops working at 63. From 63 to 69, their income is very low. Every year, they strategically convert $100,000 from their IRA to a Roth, paying taxes in a low bracket. By age 70, a huge chunk of their nest egg is tax-free. Their future RMDs are smaller, their taxable income is lower, and they likely avoid those painful IRMA surcharges. Retiree B works until 68. They feel richer because their IRA balance is bigger, but they only have a year or two to do any Roth conversions before Social Security and RMDs start, pushing their income right back up. That massive tax-deferred account is now a liability. Every dollar they're forced to take out is taxed at a high rate, which also makes more of their Social Security taxable and inflates their Medicare premiums. They won the battle of saving more, but they lost the war on keeping it. Working longer doesn't just add to your nest egg, it adds to your future tax bill. You're paying a penalty for earning that money later in life, and you're giving up the single best tool you have for diffusing your retirement tax disaster. Hidden cost 3, the regret tax. We've talked money. We've talked health. Now we have to talk about the most heartbreaking tax of all, the regret tax. This is the one you pay when you finally realize you can't buy back time. A survey from Human Interest found that 83% of workers have regrets about their retirement planning. And while many wish they'd saved more, a huge part of that regret is about timing. A Lincoln Financial study found over 60% of retirees would plan differently if they could. They feel they waited too long. They misjudge that intersection of time and health. The irony is that while so many people plan to work longer, a huge number never get the choice. They're forced out by their health, a spouse's health, or their job disappearing. They had a plan for one more year, but life had other ideas. They're left haunted by the time they thought they had. Let me share a story about a wonderful woman. We'll call her Carol. Her husband Tom was a brilliant engineer who loved his job. Their dream was to travel the world, starting with a 3-month trip through Italy. "Just one more year, honey," he'd say. "One more year to build our retirement fund, then we'll go." He said that at 64, at 65, and at 66. Shortly after he turned 67, he was diagnosed with a fast-moving neurological disease. The Italy trip never happened. Within 2 years, he needed full-time care. Carol thought, "We have all this money, and it means nothing. I would give back every penny for one healthy year with him in Italy. We were so busy saving for a life we never got to live." That is the regret tax. It's the final non-refundable and most painful cost of delay. It's the grandkids' school plays you miss for a work deadline. It's the fishing trips you put off. It's the cross-country road trip with your spouse that never leaves the living room. You can always find a way to earn another dollar. You can never get back another sunset, another conversation, another healthy, vibrant day. Delaying retirement isn't just a financial calculation. It's a life calculation. And the biggest risk isn't running out of money. It's running out of time. So if the one more year plan is a minefield, what do? It's not about retiring early with no plan. It's about completely changing how you define retirement. For years, we've been told to focus only on our financial capital. The 401k, the IRA, the brokerage account. The goal was always just make the number bigger. But there's a second, equally important account we need to track. Your life capital. Life capital is your health, your energy, your relationships, your time, your sense of purpose, and your joy. And here's the critical truth. After a certain point, every decision you make to grow your financial capital starts to drain your life capital. A successful retirement isn't about maxing out one at the expense of the other. It's about finding that sweet spot where you have enough financial capital to fully fund your life capital. Think of it like a business. A good CEO doesn't just chase revenue, financial capital, while letting the factory, your health, your life capital fall apart. They know the revenue is worthless if the factory can't produce anything. Your retirement needs a new CEO, you, who understands both sides of the balance sheet. So, how do you do this? It boils down to a simple 3-step plan. First, do a life capital audit. Forget the spreadsheets for a minute. Write down the top 3 to 5 things you want to do in retirement that absolutely require you to be healthy. Be specific. A 7-day hike in Yosemite? Getting on the floor to play with your grandkids without your knees screaming? A trip to Egypt that involves a lot of walking in the heat? Next to each one, write the age by which you want to have done it. This isn't a financial document, it's your life's to-do list. This is the why behind your savings. Second, reevaluate your enough number. With your life capital audit in hand, go back to your finances. The goal is no longer, how much can I possibly save? The new question is, what is the minimum amount of financial capital I need to fund my life capital? Shift your focus from more to enough. You might be shocked to find you're already there. So many people are still saving out of habit and fear, long after they've crossed the finish line. Find your enough number and give yourself permission to be done. Third, ask your advisor to model retiring earlier. The next time you talk to your financial advisor, give them a new challenge. We're all programmed to ask, what happens if I work 2 more years? Instead, ask them to model a scenario where you retire 1 or 2 years earlier than you planned. Maybe you spend a little less in the first few years. Seeing the numbers in black and white often shows you that retiring earlier is way more possible than you imagined. It takes the fear out of it and gives you a real plan. The goal isn't just to stop working. It's to start living the life you've spent decades saving for. It's about shifting your mindset from just building financial capital to finally using your life capital. And remember, it's never too late to grow your wealth after 50.